If you're over 55 and your feet are cold at night, if your ankles swell up by dinner time, it's not because you didn't walk enough today. It's because one muscle in your lower leg has quietly stopped doing its job. And here's the part nobody tells you. Ordinary walking barely switches it on. Most people over 55 spend years doing the three things they were told to do. Walk more, put your feet up, wear the compression socks. And their feet are still cold at night. Not because they're doing it wrong, because none of those three actually switch on the muscle that moves the blood. I work with adults over 55 every week, and I'm going to show you 5 movements that do, counting down from 5 to 1 in under 15 minutes a day, all of it from a chair or your kitchen counter. Number 1 is the movement vascular rehab programs around the world lean on more than any other. Stay for it. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 71, sharp as a tack, still drives, still has her grandkids over on Sundays, and her feet were cold every single night, in the middle of summer. Her ankles turned to bread dough by dinner. She'd been walking a mile a day for years, faithfully, and she was quietly heartbroken that it wasn't helping. Eleanor wasn't doing anything wrong. She was treating the symptom and never touching the cause. And the cause is a muscle almost nobody thinks about, your calf. Doctors call it the calf muscle pump. A lot of us call it your second heart, and that's not a cute phrase. Every time your calf tightens, it squeezes the deep veins in your lower leg and physically pushes blood upward against gravity back toward your chest. Tiny one-way valves snap shut behind each push so it can't fall back down. That's the pump. Here's what happens to it after 60. The vein walls get weaker and stretchier. Those valves start to leak, and the calf itself shrinks and loses power, especially if you spend a good part of your day sitting. So the pump slows. Blood stalls at your ankles instead of climbing. Feet get colder, swelling gets worse, and the less you move, the weaker the pump gets. It's a slow downward spiral, and a lot of people are somewhere on it without knowing. That's exactly what these 5 movements fix. Number 5, ankle pumps. This one looks too simple to be worth your time, which is exactly why people skip it. It's often the very first movement given after leg surgery, before the patient is even allowed to stand up, precisely because it stops blood from pooling while they heal. The reason it works is simple. When you flex your foot up and then point it down, your calf contracts and relaxes, and that motion squeezes the veins and moves blood that's been sitting stagnant around your ankles. No standing, no walking required. Here's how to do it right. Sit in a chair, feet flat on the floor. Lift your toes up toward your shins while your heels stay planted. Then reverse it. Press your toes down and lift your heels, the way you'd ease onto a gas pedal. That's 1 repetition. The mistake almost everyone makes, doing it fast. Speed does nothing here. The squeeze is what moves blood, and you only get a real squeeze when you go slow and deliberate. Aim for 20 to 30 repetitions, 2 or 3 times a day. Do them while you watch television, while you read, while you wait for the kettle. Think about how much of your day you spend sitting, in the car, at meals, in your chair at night. All of that is time your pump is switched off and blood is settling into your feet. This switches it back on without you even standing up. Ankle pumps wake the system up. The next movement goes after the bigger muscles higher up your leg. Number 4, the seated leg lift. And if you're thinking sitting down makes this the easy one, your legs will tell you a different story about 10 seconds in. When you straighten your leg out and hold it there, you fire the big muscles across the front of your thigh and hip. Those are the exact muscles you use to stand up out of a chair, to climb stairs, to catch yourself when you start to go down. And when they contract, they press on the large veins running up through your thigh and help drive blood out of the leg. Walking barely challenges them enough to slow the loss that comes with age. Here's why that matters more than it sounds. Geriatric doctors track something called gait speed, simply how fast you walk. They call it the 6th vital sign, right alongside your pulse and blood pressure, because walking speed predicts fall risk, independence, even how long you're likely to live. When walking slows, it's often the first quiet signal the body is losing ground. To do it, sit tall in a sturdy chair, back pressed against the seat, both feet flat. Slowly lift one leg straight out in front of you, knee as straight as is comfortable. Hold 2 seconds. Lower it slowly. Don't let the foot flop down. 10 to 15 on one side, then switch. The mistake? Letting your back come off the chair. The moment you rock backward, you're using momentum instead of muscle, and the whole benefit disappears. Back stays pinned. As this gets easy, add a light ankle weight, even 1 or 2 pounds. Muscle responds to steady load at any age, and adults over 55 often improve faster than they expect, simply because they're starting from further back. Strong thighs still won't protect you if your balance system isn't firing. That's exactly where we go next. Number 3, the supported calf raise. This is the movement that trains your circulation and your balance at the same time, and balance is what quietly decides whether a person keeps their independence or slowly loses it. The National Institute on Aging is clear on this. Keeping your lower body muscles strong is one of the best things you can do to hold on to your mobility as you age, and your calves sit right at the center of it. Every contraction squeezes those deep veins and forces blood upward against gravity. Weak calves mean blood pools, swelling climbs, and your balance reactions get slower, so an ordinary stumble is far more likely to become an actual fall. Stand behind a sturdy chair or at a kitchen counter, hands resting lightly on it, feet about hip-width apart. Rise up slowly onto the balls of your feet, heels as high as is comfortable. Pause at the top for 2 or 3 seconds, eyes looking straight ahead, not down at your feet. Then lower slowly, taking a full 3 seconds to come back down. The mistake? Bouncing. If you drop back down fast, you skip the part that does the work. Slow tempo and that pause at the top are where the real benefit lives. It makes your calf and your balance system fire together, which is exactly what your body has to do when you catch yourself mid-stumble. Start with 10. Build toward 20 or 25. Over a few weeks, this one movement improves ankle stability, circulation, and reaction speed all at once, with no pounding on your knees or hips. Quick favor before we keep going. If this has been useful so far, subscribe and leave me a comment telling me which of these 5 you're starting with today. I read every one, and it genuinely shapes what I make next. Standing on 2 feet is the gentle version. The next movement takes one of them away. Number 2. The single leg stance hold. Before you wave this off as balance work with nothing to do with your blood, let me give you the number that made me take it seriously. In 2022, researchers publishing in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed more than 1,700 adults for several years. The people who could not stand on one leg for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of dying over the years that followed, compared with the people who could hold it. 84%. And here's the part that stops me every time. Among adults in their early 70s, fewer than half could pass it. You can try it right now. Carefully. Get next to a counter or a solid chair. Stand tall, put one hand near something you can grab, lift 1 foot an inch or 2 off the floor, and see if you can hold it steady for 10 seconds without grabbing on. That's the test. And it's also the exercise. Why does it do so much for blood flow? Time. The instant you stand on one leg, your calf, ankle, hip, and core all have to contract and keep contracting to hold you up. That sustained squeeze keeps the pump running the whole time, pushing blood up instead of letting it settle into your foot. Walking never asks for that. You're on one foot for a split second and then you're off it. To train it, hand resting lightly on the counter, shift your weight onto one leg, lift the other foot an inch. That's all. No need to lift it high. Stand tall, eyes forward. Hold 20 to 30 seconds, breathing normally, then switch. 2 rounds each side. The mistake: curling your toes to grip the floor. That's your body cheating. Keep the toes relaxed and let the ankle and calf do the stabilizing. That's where the pumping happens. As it gets easier, rest your hand more and more lightly until you can hover it just above the counter without touching. Balance keeps you upright, but on its own, it doesn't restore the flow. For that, you need the strongest version of the calf pump there is. Number 1, the standing calf pump hold. This is the movement I promised you at the start. And once you understand what it does inside your leg, you'll see why vascular rehab programs around the world lean on it almost the way they'd use a prescription. It looks like the calf raise from number 3, with one small difference that changes everything: the hold. You rise onto the balls of your feet, and then you stay there. Your calves work like pressure pumps, and holding at the top keeps that pump fully squeezed long enough to actually clear the blood that's been stalling around your ankles and drive it up toward your heart. The single leg hold trains your control. This one moves the most blood of all, and keeps it moving. And this matters because by age 70, close to 1 in 5 adults has peripheral artery disease, narrowing of the arteries feeding the legs, and most of them have no idea yet. Research on people with genuinely poor leg circulation shows that a simple program built around calf raise exercise lets them walk significantly farther before the pain sets in. No medication, no machine. Here's how. Stand behind a chair or at a counter, hands resting there, feet hip-width apart. Rise slowly onto the balls of your feet, heels as high as is comfortable. Now hold. 3 to 5 seconds at the very top, breathing normally, eyes forward. Then lower slowly, about 3 seconds down. That's 1 repetition. Start with 8 to 10. Work up over time to 15 or 20. The mistake? Holding your breath. People clench at the top and stop breathing, which spikes blood pressure, the opposite of what we want. Breathe normally through the hold. If you can't, you're holding too long. Shorten it to 3 seconds. The hold is the entire point. That sustained squeeze keeps the pump fully engaged, drives blood up, brings swelling down, and strengthens the exact muscles your body reaches for when you catch yourself. And with no jumping and no pounding, it's gentle enough for most people with arthritis or shaky balance, as long as one hand stays on that counter. So let me tell you what happened with Eleanor, because this is where it all landed for her. I had her stop obsessing over her step count and instead do these 5 movements in order, about 12 minutes a day. Ankle pumps in her chair first thing in the morning. Seated leg lifts. Supported calf raises at the kitchen counter while the coffee brewed. The balance holds. And the standing calf pump holds at the very end. Now I'm going to be honest with you about her result, because I always am. Her circulation did not turn into a 30-year-old's overnight, and I'd never promise you that. But within a few weeks, her ankles weren't ballooning by dinner anymore. Her feet were warmer at night. And the thing she told me she cared about most, she stopped feeling like she might tip over when she got up off the couch. She felt steady again. For a woman who had been quietly terrified of falling, that was everything. Before I let you go, one honest caution, because I'd much rather you be safe than sorry. If you ever get sudden severe pain in one leg, or a leg turns pale and cold and numb out of nowhere, or you have a sore on your foot or ankle that simply will not heal, please don't sit at home doing exercises. Get that looked at quickly, because it can mean an artery is seriously blocked, and that's an emergency. Everything I've shown you today is for the slow, chronic, everyday poor circulation, not for a sudden crisis. So there they are. 5 movements that wake up your second heart. Number 5, ankle pumps, to switch the pump on. Number 4, seated leg lifts, to move blood up through the thighs. Number 3, supported calf raises, circulation and balance together. Number 2, the single leg hold, the long, steady squeeze that also keeps you upright. And number 1, the standing calf pump hold, the most powerful of them all, and the one I'd pick without hesitation if you made me choose only one. And keep walking. Walking is wonderful, and I never want you to stop. But walking alone leaves a real gap, and these 5 movements are what fill it. Under 15 minutes a day, no equipment, all of it in front of your television. Your circulation is one of the very few things about getting older where you actually get a vote. This is how you cast it. Tell me in the comments which movement you're starting with first, number 5 or number 1. And subscribe, because the next video picks up exactly where number 2 left off, the balance work that keeps you on your feet after 55, and the simple test that tells you where you stand today. Take good care of those legs. They've carried you this far, and with a few honest minutes a day, they'll carry you a good while longer.